Alright, so this is Robin Payton, and we're going to be teaching lessons from Chapter 4. We're going to be teaching lessons 4.1, which is on classifying triangles. We're going to be teaching lessons 4-4 and 4-5, which are on proving triangles congruent. And we're going to be teaching lesson 4-7, which is on congruence transformations. So we're going to start with lesson 4-1, and the first four triangles that we mention are going to be talking about the angles of the triangles, and then the last three are going to be about the sides. The first triangle we're talking about is the right triangle. It has two 45-degree angles and one 90-degree angle. Next triangle. The acute triangle has three angles that are less than 90 degrees. The obtuse triangle has one angle that's more than 90 degrees and two angles that are less than 90 degrees. The equiangular triangle has all three angles congruent, so the measure of each angle is 60 degrees. So those were the triangles talking about angles. Now we're going to talk about sides. The equilateral triangle has three equal sides. The isosceles triangle has two sides that are congruent and one that is not congruent to the other two. And the scalene triangle has three sides that are not congruent to each other. That's lesson 4-1. Now we're going to talk about lessons 4-4 and 4-5. Lessons 4-4 and 4-5 are about they're about proving triangles congruent. And there are four primary ways to prove triangles congruent. The side-side-side method, side-angle-side, angle-side-angle, and angle-angle-side. So the side-side-side theorem is three sides of a triangle are congruent to three sides of another triangle. If the sides are equal, it doesn't matter if it's flipped around. If the sides are equal, then the two triangles are congruent. Side-angle-side is where there's one side that's congruent, then an angle that's congruent, then a side that's congruent. So angle, side, angle, you should just have to look at the two diagrams and see if the side and then the angle and the side are congruent. Angle, side, angle is the opposite. You have to check and see if there's an angle and then a side and then an angle that are congruent on each triangle. Then the final one is angle, angle, side. And you have to check that there is a congruent angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. And then if they match on the triangles, then those triangles are congruent. The final lesson that we're talking about is 4-7, which is congruence transformations. There are three congruence transformations that are covered in this lesson. The first one is a reflection. It's also known as a flip. It's a transformation over a line, and the line is called the line of reflection. A translation, which is the next congruence transformation, it's also known as a slide, and it's a transformation that moves all points of the original figure the same distance in the same direction. And the final congruence transformation is a rotation. It's a transformation around a fixed point called the center of rotation through a specific angle and a specific direction. So basically, one point it'll just flip the figure, and you can flip it whichever way you want, as long as the points are the same distance from each other that they were in the first place. Alright, that's lessons 4-1, 4-4, 4-5, and 4-7.